first day that she planted it was just a twig.
This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne. It's time for Wyoming Sports Talk today on KRAE. Here are your hosts, Nick and Larry Proetti.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Wyoming Sports Talk today. It's being brought to you by Taco John's of Cheyenne on the South Greeley Highway, downtown KRAE Avenue, Yellowstone Road, corner of Del Range and Ridge, and the corner of Pershing and Ridge. Taco John's of Cheyenne. Kia of Cheyenne over on Nation Way, where the lot is filled with 2020 Kias. And again, waiting for your test drive and again, your signature on the dotted line. Then you can take home the Kia of your dreams from our good friends at Kia of Cheyenne. Platte Valley Bank ×2. Banking done the old-fashioned way, done the high-technology way, done with everything in between. That's why Platte Valley Bank is doing what they do for you best all the time. You will find them over on Banda High and at the corner of College and Pershing. Chick-fil-A, Windmill, and Del Range. Again, right across from Powers Field and Menards. And again, serving up 3 delicious squares Monday through Saturday, including the ever-popular mac and cheese, which goes with any lunch or dinner at Chick-fil-A, Windmill, and Del Range. Medicap Pharmacy for all your pharmaceutical needs with your doctor's prescription. If you get a bug, see Gene, the great staff there. Let them take good care of you. They're open Monday through Saturday. Shop inside or use the convenient drive-thru. B&B Appliance and TV at 714 Central Avenue, where they service what they sell. Again, having their St. Patrick's Day sale going on right now, where you can save on GE, Maytag, Frigidaire, Whirlpool, and a plethora of other goodies for you over at B&B Appliance and TV, 714 Central Avenue. Lennox Auto Body over on Dunn Avenue again, where they repair it almost showroom new. And again, they have the Auto Glass and Detail Center over on Pershing Boulevard, where it's not clean until it's Lennox clean, both part of Lennox Enterprises, serving our area for over a quarter century. First Tier Bank, 1508 Stillwater Avenue, open Monday through Friday. Had a listener come on in today who said, yes, they went over to First Tier Bank and got onto those special CD rates going on right now. And again, First Tier Bank offering the best rates around. So check out what they have for you. Open Monday through Friday, 1508 Stillwater Avenue. Mondello's Pizzeria, Paisan Cuisine at its best now into its 5th decade. Mondello's Pizzeria, Joe, and the family and everyone over there invite you to come on by for delicious pizza, which is ranked in the top 10 by the Food Network folks. Again, calzones, strombolis, delicious sandwiches, always on fresh baked bread. It's all for you at Mondello's Pizzeria at 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite G in the Greenway Commons. And it's, well, we'll try it. Scoreboard time, brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne. Here's Nick.
We had one final in high school basketball, that being our first game happening here on 1480 KRAE, that being with Cheyenne Central Lady Indians, who took care of business earlier this morning, again, defeating Green River. But after that game ended today, a part of the Class 4A and also to Class 3A as well, too. Again, both classes happening, at least competing in the state tournament up there in Casper today. It's been shut down. It's been canceled. Again, that game is in the books. It is a final, but again, that is the only game that's going to be played. Was at Central High Lady Indians, at least squad, taking on Green River, the Lady Wolves, where again, Central did get the victory, but again, that is it for our scoreboard. NBA, NHL, MLB, MLS, everything under the sun, NCAA, NJCAA, basketball, Frozen Four, everything has been officially suspended due to the coronavirus outbreak. Again, we'll talk more about that. We'll also talk about, at least get his thoughts from Chris Polton, who is on the way back currently from Casper, again, with the at least state tournament. Again, it is shut down. Will it be played at a later date? To be determined by the Activities Association, but as of right now, again, on the scoreboard, it's blank for quite some time.
Well, don't send it over to me. I've got nothing to report as well. You got all the scores.
Well, you got something at least to mention as a, again, we do have a sponsor, though.
Yeah, our scoreboard is brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
I'm Nate.
And I'm Kate.
And we're not just literal taste buds. We're best buds.
And there's nothing that we love more than a
cool,
crisp,
deliciously refreshing Pepsi.
Sure, we live inside your mouth.
But that doesn't mean we don't enjoy the finer things.
Hey, Nate. Pepsi incoming!
Here it comes!
Tastes so good.
Tell me about it.
So,
Amazing.
that's what I was thinking.
It's like we share the same mouth, Kate.
Forever and ever, Nate.
Make your taste buds happy and pick up a delicious, refreshing Pepsi.
You're listening to Cheyenne's new Sports Talk Authority. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today on AM 1480 KRAE.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Wyoming Sports Talk Today, which probably, most likely, will be our final get-together for...
Not necessarily.
Well, I'm talking about since everything has been shut down. And again, Major League Baseball just officially shut down as well, too.
Yeah, baseball for spring training, again, both on the Florida side, Arizona, again, that has been suspended. Also to delay of opening day, opening weekend. Basically, the start of the MLB season has been delayed to further notice. MLS, Major League Soccer, has been delayed 30 days. Again, they've suspended their season. NCAA, again, we saw that a few tournaments were ending or at least shutting down some of the Power Fives like the Big Ten, SEC, but the NCAA officially just came out today and said, both men and women, you're no longer playing. No March Madness, no tournaments, nothing like that. It also, too, does affect the upcoming Frozen Four, especially where some of those games were happening to at least to play down at the Budweiser Event Center in Loveland, Colorado. Also, too, does affect the DU squad that was number 6 in the nation, the DU Pioneers, who were kind of picked to be up there at top to get away with that Frozen Four championship. So, again, a lot going on as we see Chris Polton's in studio with us. Again, we'll get his thoughts as well, too, where, again, he's fresh off the road from coming down from Casper, Wyoming, where, again, he was anticipated this entire weekend to do state tournament action, but unfortunately was at least shut down, as I mentioned. It was not the Activities Association that did the shutdown, so to speak. It was more so from Natrona County, the health department up there, that said, yeah, we need to shut this down immediately. Again, we'll see if that does get played at a later date. Is it postponed, or do we just basically call 2019-2020 a wash in high school basketball?
No, I think you call the Lady Indians state champions.
They're
the only ones that got a game in, so let's hand them the crown. No, actually, and let's get serious about all this. And Chris, and I know we were kind of all confused throughout the morning with what was going on in Casper because, again, it was mentioned that you were going to have to exit after the first contest, and then you weren't going to exit, and everybody thought it was a Wyoming High School Activities Association. Again, this is done by the Natrona Department of Health, and again, it's pretty much signaling what's going on nationwide. Again, for you guys, especially you younger guys, we're taking more of a pro-action than a reaction that happened after 9/11. So, again, we're being proactive. The president last night, first and foremost, said, don't panic. So, again, we're not panicking, but, our first case of coronavirus was issued last night, Wednesday night, up in Sheridan.
Yeah, official statement came out late last night from Governor Mark Gordon saying, yes, it was a female adult up in Sheridan who did a lot of domestic traveling that did at least test positive up in Sheridan. So, again, we now know that there is an official state case here in the state of Wyoming. So, again, as it is kind of affected now or kind of rippled through the state regarding events, again, most notably the state tournament as of today. Also, too, here on the local side, we'll announce, or at least it came across my way about an hour ago, that again, a few upcoming sports events, not necessarily actual competing events, but activities. For instance, Post 6, the baseball bash that's happening on March 21st, or at least it was supposed to happen. That has been postponed. The only thing that is right now, again, as we've mentioned, that is anticipated to go on, Cheyenne Roller Derby, March 21st, their first match. That is still anticipated to play over there at Roller City here in Cheyenne. Also, too, the Blue and Gold Bash hosted by LCCC Athletic Department. That is still a go. That is March 28th is when that is supposed to happen. But again, both of those are, as I talk with those entities, talk with interim AD Cindy Henning, as of now, they're still underway. It can change at any point in time.
So Chris Polton joins us. I guess first question to ask you, Chris, and we did talk a lot this morning since I engineered your game. And again, congratulations, Lady Indians, on a well-fought victory where they really turned it up a notch in the second half. I guess the atmosphere. Was anybody even thinking about all of this morning?
I think everybody was shocked. When the assistant commissioner, Trevor Wilson, got on the mic and said that fans have to leave, that they're no longer allowed to have any type of spectators there, Central fans, you can hear them voice their displeasure, saying, "You got to be kidding me." I think what it is a lot of people were upset because, one, they didn't cancel it from the get-go, and two, it just wasn't handled. I don't think it was handled with as much grace as it needed to be handled. You had a lot of people travel, and as bad as it was, I mean, the travel this morning was awful, and I'm sure a lot of parents took off around the same time I did, and that drive from when you got to just north of Wheatland all the way into Casper was not an easy drive. So, a lot of parents spent, took the day off, spent money on hotel. Now, granted, hotel and then the cost of admission, they're probably going to get all that back, but time. I mean, it's not an easy drive to get down there, especially when the weather's bad, and they were extremely upset. And I think the Central fans, they got a good taste of where this team was at. I mean, it was close in the third quarter, and then the fourth quarter, Central took over. They won by 21 points, probably against the best team out of the Western region. And to have that just ripped away from them that quickly, I think that is where a lot of the anger is right now.
I think, though, too, Nick and Chris, the Department of Health was waiting. And again, it's probably no disrespect to you, our other broadcast colleague in town that drove up, our colleague from Green River that probably went up last night.
Folks from Evanston, Sheridan, that were all, it was a state effort, all centralized there in Casper.
And once the president last night made his comments, then you started seeing things shut down. Of course, the NBA shut down after the Jazz situation. Now we find out not one but two members of the Utah Jazz now are infected with the coronavirus. Then we saw the National Hockey League make the announcement today. It's been a ripple effect that it's just been going right down, one domino after another. And
it's no surprise, without a doubt, where again, you knew that they were all going to follow suit at a point in time. You can't be the odd man out.
I don't think we did know that. I disagree with you, Nick. I think it was one of those deals where it was like once the majors decided to step away, because again, the majors draw the biggest crowds. Right. And I think that would be the more susceptibility to this airborne / body type virus that made the decision a lot easier for the majors, then to the collegiate, and then down to the to the locals, the high schools, and unfortunately, you and all our other colleagues got caught up in the shuffle, so to speak.
Well, yeah, and that's. I mean, I'm pretty emotional about it. I think the way I look at it is, I was really excited about going up there because I really felt like, as far as our Cheyenne schools go, we had 3 really legitimate opportunities to bring home 2 state titles. Yeah. And I think Central started it off the right way. And the couple of things that bother me is they had cheer. And they had cheer and dance yesterday. And granted, they didn't know about the case in Sheridan, but they had all those people there. Then they hear about the case in Sheridan, and from what I've seen is, she's been quarantined, and they're doing their efforts in Sheridan. And then all of a sudden it goes from 1 minute it's, okay, we're going to have the fans leave and allow the players to still play. Okay, that's cool. That's fine. Allow us to be in there still, so that way at least people can experience the game. Then it went from, okay, now fans and media, but the NFHS can stay. And so then I'm starting to get upset because I'm like, wait a second, you're going to make us leave but not let the NFHS leave? Because at the Swede, they don't have a robotic camera there. They're not set up for the NFHS, so somebody's there manning it. Now, they said it was going to be free to everybody. They're going to make it to where it was free. But, I was like, okay, that kind of makes me upset. And then within 5 minutes, Natrona County and Kelly Walsh are out there warming up, and they say, okay, we're canceling the whole tournament. And I looked at Kate Robertson for Natrona County, and you can just see the disappointment. She's a senior on that team, by the way. The disappointment on her face as they came walking off. What's funny too is the Natrona County Health is the one that stopped it, and it was the Natrona County administration that was there that were probably the most upset.
Yeah,
the fact that they were canceling the tournament. And that's where I think I'm most upset at this point is the seniors. Ellie Fernio probably played the best game of her entire life. 17 points, 20 rebounds, 6 steals, 2 assists, a block. And that is going to be the lasting taste, is the fact that they're not going to know what would have happened if they were allowed to play. I think of Kai Buell and Maddie Blaney and the other seniors for the Lady Thunderbirds, Xavier, Demetrius, Chance Almiller, those guys, some of these kids probably played their last basketball game last weekend and have been, I don't want to say robbed because I don't want to downplay the coronavirus, but they got it taken away from them and is out of their control.
And let's also preference that, again, it has been shut down, but no word has come yet from the Activities Association where, again, they're looking into it. Again, will it continue at a later date? Again, we do not know. Again, other entities, other sports, again, whether it is in the NCAA, in the NJCAA, we know both on men and women for Division I basketball. Again, those have been pushed to April 20th. So, again, could the possibility that the state tournament happen at a later date? It's on the table, but, again, it's up to the Activities Association of what they determine, how they approach this coming up at a later date. Again, it is shut down now, but is it something that is terminated for the entire season, or at least is a championship not going to be crowned for both girls and boys on both 4A and 3A? We're not sure right now. Again, this is something we got to play into of, this is all happening very quickly, up fast. And I don't blame Natrona County, at least the health department out there. Again, it's a proactive move without a doubt. It makes the most sense where right now, where we are in this point in time in this world that we kind of live in right now, sports don't really matter. It's life, family. That's what's kind of important right now to protect life. And again, sports kind of go by the wayside.
Well,
right now.
and here's the deal. Again, as I also throw the age card on both you guys, I've gone through the swine flu. I've gone through the bird flu. You guys all went through that, the H1N1, all this stuff. And again, even in the 60s when we had bugs and stuff that went around. Again, our president is being proactive, shutting down borders, shutting down the travel so it doesn't come into the country. We should be fortunate as a country right now that we have, sorry that, that folks have died. I mean, I'm more sympathetic than anybody because I'm getting to that age right now. I don't want to die. But the point is we don't have a lot of deaths on our hands from this bug. If we can prevent anybody from being further sickened by the coronavirus, then let's tip our cap to the sporting world for stepping back and saying, hey, it's not about us. It's about the health of everybody. And what happened today, and again, I feel bad for Chris and our friend Keith over across town, and matter of fact, doing the ball game because he sent a picture of Steve Core for Green River. I feel bad for these guys. You and me, Nick, the drives. We made all these drives.
Yeah.
We know about these day drives, which you did today. We feel sympathetic towards you.
Could this been handled better by the Activities Association? Without a doubt. When again, Governor Mark Gordon came out with the press release. It's not the
Activities Association, Nick.
But again, that is also too that body up there that should have looked into this and made that decision last night before you had fans, before you had broadcasters, before you had teams come on down. Again, we know of one case right now that has been confirmed, but what other underlying or at least possible fans, players, coaches that are infected that do not realize that they're infected? Right. Again, as we are understanding that symptoms can spring up well after you've been infected. Mm-hmm. You gathered them all in this centralized location, whether it's in the hotels there in Casper, whether it is at that Casper College or at least at the Swede. Some again, not going to put a whole bunch of blame on the Activities Association, but this is something that they should have at least had a determination last night, especially when we saw the pro sport world, especially NBA, say, hey, we're done. We're suspending.
And I'll agree and disagree. The Activities Association maybe should have been in touch with the Department of Health last night once this news broke. But also, too, last weekend was Class 1A, 2A in Casper. So we had teams from the north that participated in Class 1A, 2A. So, and then also Sheridan is involved with the boys team coming up in the state tournament. So you've had families that are traveling down from Sheridan, the team that's traveling down from Sheridan, the broadcaster that's coming down for both of the Sheridan broadcasts. So again, has any of these people been in contact with that person up in Sheridan? Don't know. Don't have the answers. Don't know who, like you said, Nick, who is sickened across the state of Wyoming right now.
Yeah.
We have no idea. So, yeah, you can put a little partial blame on the Washoe. I think the Department of Health this morning, I think when they got in and fully realized that this coronavirus nationwide is affecting everybody, I think they said, no, we can't do this. We got to pull the plug. And they came in there at 9:30 and said, it's done.
Yeah, and I agree with everything both you guys are saying, and I don't want to make it sound like that on my end that sports, right, is sport, and not even just me doing the games. I don't want to say sports is more important than life, but being somebody that has played high school sports, played college baseball, as somebody that as a senior, I think about all the work that they did. I think about the endless hours of practice and preparation and film study. To have something that's out of your control, take that away and have that taken away from you, that right there sickens me, and my heart breaks for those kids.
Yeah.
Xavier McCord, sent out a tweet saying it can't end this way. He said something along those lines, and we see a kid like Xavier McCord who in the 4 years that we've gotten to see him, especially in the last month, has really taken his game to the next level, and it would have been really super excited. Now, I'm not saying that anybody's wrong in this because I don't think there is a right or wrong answer.
Yeah.
I think what erring on the side of caution is probably what's best because you don't want this to become an even bigger pandemic than it already is.
Yeah.
And in the state of Wyoming, I think we're very fortunate at this point where there's only one case, especially when you have Colorado that I think is I think it's up to 11 cases now, I believe is what I last saw, and they're starting to cancel all of their high school and collegiate games. And Nebraska's at 5. So, we're fortunate as a state of Wyoming that we only have one. And I respect the tough decision that was made. From my end, I just wish it would have been black and white, more clear. And I don't know if anybody was right or wrong or if anybody really had control over that. Just as somebody that is very passionate about seeing high school athletics and even college athletics, to see what's going on right now, it's kind of in that area where, sports has always been a big part of my life. It's gotten me through a lot. I think it's gotten this country through a lot of stuff. And I was texting a buddy back in North Carolina, and he said, usually times like this, we look to sports to help just give us a little bit of a distraction, and now it's being taken away.
Well, again, I'll agree with you on aspects there, Chris, where, for these seniors, where, the state tournament is that opportunity where, with this virus outbreak that is happening, hopefully it is a little blip in the road here in 2020. It's something that is, for this past couple of months and then just kind of becomes an afterthought like H1N1, like the bird flu, swine flu, whatever it may be. That's all we can hope for. But, once life after the coronavirus happens, especially for some of these seniors, what happens where, again, you miss out on those opportunities where scouts are going to be in attendance, or at least we're anticipated to be in attendance for these state championship games or the state tournament games for 3A, 4A, where, hey, some of them may not have gotten those offers. These games, if they played well, as you mentioned with Fernio, hey, could have gotten an offer from a JUCO, from a D1, D2, whatever it may be, where, it is that scenario where you feel bad. Yeah, absolutely. Where, life is going to happen, or at least life is going to move on past the coronavirus, as we know. Again, it's going to be something that, however long this takes to kind of be eradicated or removed off this planet, life is going to happen. And again, you got to move on and figure out what the future holds for you, especially for some of those senior athletes. So it is that moment right now where you see both sides of the line, where you feel bad for those athletes without a doubt. And again, it's not just in high school. It's not here in the state of Wyoming. It's throughout the entire nation. It's throughout the entire world. And again, it's from pro, junior college, collegiate, high school. Everyone's affected by this right now. but for the right reasons. And again, it's proactive than reactive. Again, to slow this thing down, to again not make it an extreme pandemic. It has been determined that it is a pandemic, but nothing that is right now affecting the entire globe. But to kind of slow it down, I think on the sports world, again, to cancel a lot of these big time venues and events and happenings, it's a smart move.
I think again too, Nick, and we look back with the Lady Golden Eagles, how the bug went through them all season long. Yeah. Again, flu. Again, just flu. And think about it, too. We've all been sick. I go back to...
Well, it's been a harsh winter as well, too, so that doesn't help, too.
It's been a very interesting winter, I'll say that. I think back, it had to be like 94. So, you're a little guy back then. The crud was the big thing. And I'm laying on the couch, with about 103-degree temperature. I never missed doing a broadcast. There was no way I was getting. Your mother would not let me off the couch. I was done. I was toast. I had to listen to it on the radio, and I was dying because it wasn't my voice doing the game. So, again, there's these bugs that are going around. Our president, I'm going to use the president only on this one, who's come right out and said, we got to get this taken care of. He's putting pressure on, whether it's the pharmaceuticals, the scientists, everybody. We got to get some type of cure, some type of medicine, some type of antibiotic out on the shelves right now for these people that are sickened. And again, too, we understand, well, the rumors that we understand, if you are this age and above, you got a long shot at making it through this. So what we're trying to do is not take care of just that group. We're trying to take care of everybody at once.
Yeah.
And to prevent this from becoming widespread, we're going to have to sacrifice. And Chris is absolutely right. Because, again, you guys were young back when 9/11 happened. We lost baseball. I mean, sports basically shut down. Or when President Kennedy got assassinated, there was this is 1963, guys, so I'm only 6 years old back then. And, you got college football on it, and the question was, should we play the games while the president, during the funeral and everything else? But everything was allowed to go ahead and take place. You're right. Sometimes when there's a tragedy or a happening, a sad event, whatever, sports is what we've leaned to because there are heroes. Whether it's the pro side or, as we look on the high school side, hey, you've been following you and Nick have been following these guys all season long and the ladies. And it's like, wow, they deserve this opportunity to be on the big stage right now.
But again, the examples you're giving out are, again, not health related, so to speak, where, again, as, a sickness that is going around the entire country where, again, it's affecting lives, where, again, people are getting infected now. What happens to them? Are they recovering? Again, majority of them are from the stats. But again, it is something where right now to prevent sickness, or at least to kind of keep people, again, as healthy as possible, to not make this even more blown out of proportion, or, again, as we learn in science class, hey, those viruses can mutate and can be even more deadly. So to kind of avoid all that, again, right now, this is a unique time in my generation, and again, a lot of people's generation, where, again, last time we had something like this of a global epidemic was, the Spanish flu of around the 1910s, where, again, that killed off millions of people around the entire globe. Granted, medicine and information and technology has greatly advanced since those early parts of the 1900s to kind of prevent all that. But right now, where, yes, it sucks without having sports. It sucks to not have something to kind of get your mind off and no longer have that anxiety, that panic, so to speak, to take your mind off of what is going on. But to keep everyone healthy, to keep everyone, again, to avoid what potentially could be of that kind of worst case scenario, right now, by pro all the way down to, even little youth leagues right now, canceling all this, it's the smartest move right now, without a doubt.
Well, here's what's... First, let me start with this. I don't remember who I saw the tweet from, so I can't give him the credit. But somebody tweeted out there that the last time this happened in the state of Wyoming was the 1935-36 season, and it was ended prematurely because of scarlet fever. So this isn't the first time in Wyoming high school basketball history that this has happened. But obviously, 84 years later, this is happening. Now, as far as the kid games go, I have friends that play at Power to Play in Windsor, and right now nothing has been canceled for them to this point. But that's another rabbit hole to get down. The thing with the other things, the 9/11, the assassination of JFK, those, granted, they were not physical health deals that the country had to go through because there wasn't. But my question is how much has social media grown to play a role in all of this? When we had the swine flu that really ripped through, the U.S., we didn't stop anything. But social media wasn't as prevalent then. 2020, social media is all over the place, and now you can get that instant access, and now you have your hand, you just have your hand on so much more information. I'm not saying that social media is ruining sports for people. What I'm saying is the advancement of social media and how aware everybody has now become. Now, to me, I do think it can be a double-edged sword, because like the president said, we need to be cautious but not panic, right? In the state of Wyoming, if I'm going to be truthful, it almost came across as a panic type move. Today.
For one case where, again, the least populated state here in the nation basically shut down. It felt like its entire borders. It felt like it was the end of the world out here, just especially seeing some of the social media posts. But, again, without a doubt, you're absolutely correct, Chris, is there a little over panic right now? Yeah, without a doubt. Again, go to your local Walmart, Albertsons, go to King Soopers, toilet paper's gone. Hand sanitizer, soap, all that is completely wiped out. Where, again, you look on Amazon, some of those prices are inflated to get all that. Again, it's not just here in the state, it's across the nation. It's probably across the entire world. But again, is there over panic? Yeah, without a doubt. Again, where you got, the Surgeon General coming out, you got the CDC, you got all these folks basically saying, hey, this is preventive. All you got to do is something that you learn in grade school as a kindergarten. Wash your hands. Keep clean. Don't touch your face. Don't put your mouth on wrong things. Be clean like you normally should be.
Right, absolutely.
It's as simple as that. So is this all overblown? Without a doubt. Without a doubt. But again, it is still serious. So this is, again, how the contagious factor of what it is absolutely is serious. I don't want to get the flu. I don't think I've ever had the flu, but I certainly don't want to get it. But, it is something that, folks, you got
one side, like you go into the social media side, crying wolf right now. And then you have another side that's saying, hey, keep calm, and, we'll get it taken care of.
It's plain and simple right now where, again, they tell you, hey, do you believe everything you read on the internet? We're kind of at that moment right now.
Evidently, everybody is, right?
Yeah, without a doubt, where it's like you need to calm down and not read into every single tweet or every conspiracy theory that is out there about this virus right now. Again, you look to kind of your local governments. You look to, the Surgeon General, whoever it may be. You kind of look to them and go, okay, here's what's really going on.
Let's flip it around here, and then we need to take a break. Let's flip around. Let's look at the Grow Bay situation in Utah, where he's at the media conference, and he's downplaying it, and then he touches all the microphones, and then the next thing you know, he's got another player infected on his team. Okay?
That's a goofball move that I would probably do, because, again, I'm not in that panic move of it, like, ha, ha, ha.
Yeah, and me, you're going to have to knock me out before I get up and say, oh, gosh, I've got this bug. Hey, I've been taking medicines for what I've got, and I, as well as I do, Nick, I don't feel sick. I've just been having it stuck in my throat.
Yeah.
That's all it is. I'm eating well, going to the bathroom fine.
We're
getting a lot of sleep. I feel great.
Again, we're in winter months as well, too, where, again, winter's been very cold, very brutal out here.
It's nice one day, cold the next. The westerly winds have been just absolutely awful around here. But my point being, though, is like there's two sides to all of this. And again, where we're sitting here and we're going, hey, relax. Here's what you need to do. And then there's the other side going, hey, the sky is falling. Well, in one respect, they're right. On the other side of the coin, we're right too. But again, let's meet in the middle and let's err on the side of caution, which we're doing. And again, I salute all that. Some of the timing is not good right now. Again, here's what we do know in Nebraska. As of this morning, we know that they are having their state tournaments going on today at Lincoln, and only families are allowed to show up with the teams. And I don't know if it's been canceled yet.
No, so far I haven't seen that. Nebraska has. We've seen teams that have been moving on. In some of the lower ranks in Colorado, at least on the high school side, they're playing their state tournament right now. Some of those games are underway. So, again, not everything has been canceled, but right now it is that ripple effect that is kind of making its way throughout the country, where you would assume at some point in time that could state tournament at least kind of be canceled down in Colorado?
You would think after tonight. You would think that they will reassess after day one, and they will probably reassess tonight and say, oh, next door Wyoming, oh, next door Kansas, or whoever, nationwide we're shutting down. And they will probably say, let's err on the side of caution. Again, Colorado with 12, I do believe.
Yeah, 11 or 12.
11 or 12 cases, 5 now in Nebraska. And then also, too, you got the biocontainment at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln that have brought people over that have been in that biocontainment system for quite a while. So there's more than 5 cases in the state of Nebraska. We do need to take a timeout. We will be right back after this on 1480 KRAE. MHP is a certified public accounting and consulting firm located in Bow, Cheyenne, and Fort Collins, offering accounting, tax, and consulting services to businesses, not-for-profit, government, and individual clients. MHP takes pride in their commitment to providing close, personal attention to their clients. They also continue to invest time and resources in continuing education, state-of-the-art computer technology, and valuing their relationships with you. MHP is a proud supporter of local and UW athletics. MHP, 314 West 18th Street, or call 634-2151. Check out the huge savings this week at Town & Country Supermarket Liquors. Here are just a few of the terrific weekly specials. Our Super Radio buys, heard only right here, feature Jack Daniel's Gentleman Jack Tennessee Whiskey, 750 milliliter bottle, $21.99. Stella Artois 12-pack of 11.2-ounce bottles or cans, $15.49. And Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey, 750 milliliter bottle, $11.99. Town & Country Supermarket Liquors on the South Greeley Highway, Cheyenne's low-price leader. What is Schwab's modern approach to investing? It's great service. It's transparency about how much you're paying in fees and commissions. It's offering some of the lowest costs in the industry backed by a satisfaction guarantee. If you're not satisfied for any reason, they'll refund the eligible fees and work with you to make things right. So ask yourself, are you getting low cost and award-winning service? If not, maybe it's time to call Schwab. Visit Sam at the Cheyenne Independent Branch or schwab.com/Cheyenne for more information. Charles Schwab and Company, Incorporated. Member SIPC. First Tier Bank strives to remain competitive and offers some of the best CD rates in the community, as well as area banks and credit unions per Rate Watch reports. How does that make a difference to you? First Tier Bank can assist you in securing some of the best rates on CDs. First Tier Bank offers the personalized customer service you've grown accustomed to and deserve. Plus, feel confident that your finances are taken care of by a responsible, knowledgeable staff. Call 307-632-3500 and ask for Caitlin or Debbie. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
For almost 60 years, 1480 KRAE has been Cheyenne's home for good times and great oldies. Add to that live play-by-play sports featuring high school football and basketball, along with LCCC men's and women's basketball. Now combo that with KYOY FM and you have Cheyenne and the area's only locally owned AM and FM radio stations. But we don't stop there. We also have 2 FM translators which serve the area with programming from both KRAE and KYOY. And that equals a lot of bang for your advertising dollar. Radio yesterday and now today, along with our websites, web streams, and digital ventures, makes us your one-stop shop. For more information, please call Don Morris at 307-637-0301.
Find your pot of gold with B&B Appliance and TV's full line of Frigidaire Gallery kitchen appliances. March 11th through the 21st, all Frigidaire Gallery appliances are on sale with their St. Patrick's Day sale. Frigidaire Gallery features 2 easy-to-clean smudge-proof finishes in stainless steel and black stainless to fit any look. So stop by and save some real green on Frigidaire Gallery today. And remember, they always service what they sell. B&B Appliance and TV, 714 Central Avenue. Best brands, hometown service.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be mostly sunny with a slight chance of snow with highs around 44. Winds out of the north at 15 to 20 miles per hour. Then for tonight, it'll be mostly cloudy with a slight chance of snow with lows around 22. On Friday, it'll be cloudy with snow likely throughout the day with highs around 36. And on Friday night, it'll be cloudy once again with snow likely throughout the evening with lows around 23.
fat, lazy, and stupid is no way to conduct a sports talk radio show. We've thrown down the gauntlet, upped the stakes, and made it clear that when it comes to sports talk radio in Cheyenne, there's a new player in town. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
It's always fun behind the scenes when in a commercial break we try to solve the world's problems. And one of the problems that we do have right now, and if we had all three of the athletic directors in here, I think they'd all would have the infamous question mark that would come across their face.
Yeah.
Because technically, after this weekend, we move right now into the spring programs, which would be the soccers, the tracks, and to a certain degree swimming. I do believe spring golf as well.
Golf as well, yeah.
So that all now gets
you
put
also
on.
Get ready as well, too. Let's not shortchange, again, post-6 as well, too, practicing, getting ready for that, at least schedule. Again, same with Triple Crown Wyoming. So, again, you have a lot of those athletes that are, without a doubt, multi-sport athletes that have to kind of shift the focus on to, okay, now I got to move on or focus on here. So, as we were talking, at least off-air, of if they postpone this, reschedule this state tournament, when does it need to happen? Does it happen at all? And is it unfair to those multi-sport athletes that now have to kind of pick and choose of, do you stay with soccer? Do you stay with golf? Do you go and compete for that? Again, what do you do?
And again, too, the layoff time. Again, you can have, again, I'm not even sure, Chris, and you're closer to the situation than both Nick and myself. I mean, are these kids allowed into a gymnasium now? Are they allowed to practice? What's the window here before we start interrupting spring?
I think that's the $1 million question right now is what's going to happen to if they do decide to try to find a different date. We were talking off air saying, well, can they do it spring break? That's a couple of weeks away. That's I think it starts technically on the 30th and goes to the 3rd. I mean, do they do it then? The problem is someone's going to get shortchanged here. Is it going to be the winter sports where they cancel the championship, or are they going to shorten the spring sports season? Because I think the last thing you want to do as an athletic association or as an athletic director is make a kid choose, do you want to go play for a state championship, or do you want to move on to your spring sport? And get that started. Now, I'm sure they could do both, whatever, but as an athlete that plays 3 sports, the last thing you want to do is doing both at the same time. That's the reason why there's not very much overlap in high school sports, so they don't have to worry about. I mean, a lot of kids play club, while they're in their, like say basketball, there's still kids that play club volleyball, but you don't want 2 high school sports to be overlapping like that where they are doing both because, well, they're still young, they're still growing, and you don't want that much taxing on their body. It's tough for me. I keep saying cancel because I guess I'm having a hard time come to the trying to get a mental picture of how it could work. To me, though, if you're in a perfect world, you're going to try to do it spring break. I think there's no way you can do it. If you're going to cancel it this weekend, there's no way you can do it next weekend because they said for a lot of the coronavirus outbreak stuff, it's 14 days.
Yeah.
Like they said, if a school closes down, so if it's a hot spot, at least this is what Jared Paulus from Colorado was talking about yesterday in his press conference. If there's a hot spot, it's a 14-day quarantine for that area. So if Sheridan all of a sudden becomes a hot spot now, that's 14 days where they're kind of quarantined. So, then you can't have state because then the Sheridan boys can't make it down. And what are you going to do? Just not allow, even though they earn their bid, you're just not going to allow them to come down to state. So I think there's a lot of juggling that has to be done.
Without a doubt. And I do want to pass along some at least kind of quote-unquote kind of breaking news, but it was passed along by at least Cheyenne Extreme manager Adam Galicia, who wanted to update us that, again, as we are seeing these cancellations and updating folks regarding Cheyenne Extreme, their season has been postponed as well, too, again, as they compete down in the Colorado High School Activities Association. Again, their Spring Diamond Breaker and Chinook tournaments, again, are suspended until April 6th. They're hoping to resume play sometime after that April 6th deadline. So, again, for Cheyenne Extreme, the start of their season, those opening, at least spring tournaments, again, are suspended as of right now.
So, as we stand today, with Laramie County School District number 1 as well, and probably Laramie County School District number 2, I would venture to say, whatever spring sports that they offer. Everything is going to be put on hold. Again, you look at, and matter of fact, you mentioned the containment area, like in New Rochelle, New York, there's a 1 mile containment area. Classes are going to be held online because, again, we're into the high technology world. Colleges, JUCOs, as you mentioned, as well as four-year institutions. Pretty soon, there's not going to be a lot of people around. But the bottom line is we're putting our foot down to stop. Basically, we're saying no. We're not going to let this thing win. Yeah. We're going to put our best foot forward to beat it at its punch.
And I think it came best by a tweet by a guest that we have on pretty frequently, a friend of ours of the show, that being NHL ESPN.com writer Victoria Matiash that we've spoken with quite some time, where she went to Twitter and kind of at least gave her little public PSA.
She's in Toronto.
Yeah, she's in Toronto, but basically said, hey, buy please until we're told otherwise, and if you're healthy, get out and support local industry. Visit a cafe, buy a book at a local shop, just wash the bejesus out of your hands and take other advised precautions. And again, it is something where, yes, be aware. Again, as I said a few minutes ago, do what you were taught as a kid in elementary school, to wash your hands after doing this, touching that, whatever it may be. Again, err on the side of caution, but don't buy into the panic. If you're feeling healthy, go out. Go eat.
Yeah, and we're going to conduct business as normal. Unfortunately, with Wyoming Sports Talk today, we'll have to put it on hold. We only can talk about golf so long. That's all we can talk about is the PGA, and the PGA is.
Or either we become Wyoming Talk today.
But anyway, the PGA, I can handle that. I've done that before. But with the PGA, they're going to stay in business, but they're going to have no crowds. Now, again, that's going to be tough to do a golf tournament. What if somebody tests positive for coronavirus? Let's think about this, gang. Luckily, with that type of sport, you're pretty much healthy. Most of these guys are healthy, and it's going to be hard for them to get brought down by this bug. But no fans to follow you. And we're talking, these tournaments are $1 million tournaments.
The fans are supposed to be quiet either way.
They make money off the gallery as well as the television money, but they're going to be the hottest thing going here for about the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, the PGA is going to make out like gangbusters, at least on their TV ratings, because of the fact that they are the only sport going. And I think one of the things that needs to be brought up with all these sports being canceled right now or suspended. Mark Cuban talked about it yesterday after the Mavericks-Nuggets game, talking about how they're going to try to put something in place for their hourly workers because they're going to be out of work. And for a lot of people that probably work for the Dallas Mavericks at an hourly rate, that's their source of income. I think about March Madness, and I think about all the, I follow Chris Fusile over at the Blake Street Tavern, and he talks about how March Madness is a huge money getter for them and all the restaurant industry in downtown Denver because of the huge alumni associations that they have there. I think about, as tough as it was for Natrona County to shut down that tournament, I think about all the hotel rooms that they just lost money on, all the tourism that they would have had, the restaurants there that would have been packed. This doesn't just impact the athletes. Now, that's what I'm closest to because that's what I know. But there's a lot of people that are going to be affected financially because of all these shutdowns. So, Larry, you're right. You have to get in front of this because if it gets worse, then you just make the problem last even longer. Whereas if you can get ahead of it, maybe it doesn't last quite as long. It's one of those things. It's a no-win situation for anybody. Like there's not a right decision you're going to make here where you're not going to make somebody upset.
Yeah, without a doubt. And again, as you mentioned, from the athletes, again, everyone and anyone is kind of at least involved with this in some way, shape, or form, whether it's freelance riders who depend on, traveling out to these tournaments and writing their beats for whatever website
even our little engineer here who, gets some hourly money for, taking care of Chris. And I take care of Chris for doing the games as well, too. Yeah, everybody gets impacted. I will say this. Now that the nation has rallied behind all of this, and let's be candid here. The nation is starting to say, hey, you know what? We got a problem. Let's take care of it. The next thing is, and again, you keep an eye on the stock market. There's a lot of panic selling. Well, the panic
Buy now.
Well, no, but the panic sellers are those that shouldn't be in the market as it is.
Yeah.
What they're doing, again, you got many ways you can get into the markets these days, okay?
I start buying in precious metals that are cheap.
And what they're doing is they're getting out of it. They're panic stricken. And I think once we get an opportunity to let the weekend settle in, and we get hopefully a good grasp of what's going on nationally with this virus, maybe some things will ease up a little bit. I'm anticipating, this is me talking personally, I anticipate the markets to be a little healthier beginning next week. Okay? We're also getting into our warmer weather where maybe this virus will go into the hibernation stage. We don't know. Maybe we'll find that miracle cure. I don't have a clue on this right now.
Supposedly, again, social media or at least news reports are saying that Israel has found a cure for it.
Israel is pretty close to it, yeah.
Supposedly.
So here we go with all of this talk. So going back to what Chris said, maybe that week window, maybe by Monday we have an announcement where things are easing up a bit, and we might return to some normal activity. May not, don't know. Again, everything is suspended, not closed down indefinitely. It's suspended, postponed.
We're not like Italy where, again, we're confined to homes, or, again, it is not that quarantine of, hey, everyone, doesn't matter if you're sick or healthy. Again, you're pretty much of, hey, you're isolated. No, again, we are free to, again, go out there. But, again, it's the phrase that we're going to use for quite some time right now until this thing goes away and is eradicated, so to speak. Again, you use precaution. Yep. Don't cough on others. Again, if you feel sick, you stay home. It's simple enough.
Yeah, and again, matter of fact, our young lady who works with me on KYY, she has been down the last 2 days. She wanted to come in today. I said, no, stay home. We got to take care of. Take another day to stay at home and get it all taken care of. Me, I've been battling the raspy throat. Hey, gotta remember, I did like 50+ basketball games during the course of the year. I do 2 games, and here's Mr. 16 games last weekend. I'm surprised the guy can even talk.
Yeah.
So the thing is, you're right. I'm going to go out. I'm not going to stay in the house. I'm going to go do what I like to do. I'm going to go out and eat at a restaurant. Maybe I'm going to catch a movie if they don't close the movie theaters down. The thing is, don't let this scare paranoia you. Put the fear of paranoia into you, okay? If you feel good, go do what you got to do. And again, support our local community because, everybody's open for business as I look at it.
Well, and you're absolutely right. I'm not a big fan of outside forces dictating how I live my life. Every presidential election I've ever been a part of, there's always been one side that's been super upset. Well, no president has ever dictated how I've lived my life. No, the coronavirus is not going to dictate what I decide to do, what my family decides to do. And you're 100% right. Here in Cheyenne, we're fortunate. We don't, as of right now, knock on wood, we don't have any cases of the coronavirus. Doesn't mean we need to quarantine ourselves so we don't go outside. Doesn't mean we have to, go to Target, Walmart, whatever, and buy all the toilet paper you possibly can, to stockpile at home. No, it just means you got to just be a little bit more cognizant. Take that extra 20, 25 seconds to wash your hands that much longer. If you cough, make sure you're covering your mouth when you cough.
Yeah.
We teach kindergartners, and my daughter who's 2, we teach her the vampire cough, cough into your arm. We got to do what we can. Just do your part, and we'll be okay. And control what you can control. That's the other thing. I can't control what other people do, but I can control what I'll do, what I do, and what my family does. And we can take the proper precautions. We went out to dinner last night. We went out. We ate at Mondello's the other night too to get some pizza because every time I read that ad, I get more and more hungry for some pizza. So yeah, like Larry said, don't let this have an effect on your lifestyle, have the effect of your quality of life, and don't allow it to affect others by not going out and having, living your life normal and going out and supporting, like you said, the local businesses, because, as a community here in Cheyenne, we depend on each other heavily to keep each other afloat.
Yeah, again, for my sake as well, too, where I've already booked at least travel plans in April to go back out to Illinois, to Chicago, and again, go up to Wisconsin. I had ticket plans to go see the Milwaukee Brewers, but again, we'll see what happens with that one. But again, as we run the risk all the time on planes of catching something, again, it's not, with what is happening right now, is not, deterring me to still take that flight out to April, at least in April, out to Chicago, where again they've had known cases, and again it is the third most populated metropolitan city in this entire country. I'm still deciding to go out there without a doubt. Again, and it's been a lovely weekend out there once again. But again, as we're at the top of the hour.
Well, and again, and we're going to wrap it up here with all this being said. Again, Wyoming Sports Talk today, like everything else right now, is just postponed. And we'll eventually be back. I mean, again, if you want to cover golf for 2 hours over the next few days, you're more than welcome to do it.
I had an idea, and I don't really want to talk about it on air.
Okay, well, you'll discuss it.
I had an idea.
You'll discuss it with the Brain Trust once he's cognizant of that.
We'll make sports alive in some way, shape, or form, and I have an idea.
All right. Well, anyway, Chris, thank you again. Sorry that you had to make the long trip up to Casper and back, but again, welcome to our world. We know exactly what you've gone through, especially during hellish weather. Again, to all our sports fans out there, and to our teams, most recently Central, girls, East, boys and girls, again, we feel for you, and we know how important this time of the season is to you. Don't give up. Maybe there's a possibility that we'll get this season played, and you'll get that opportunity to bring home those banners. We know Central is already 1/3 of the way there. They already move on to the semifinal round. They've already stamped that ticket. Yeah, they stamped their ticket. So no matter what, when they pick it up, they're going to have to pick it up with Natrona and Casper Kelly Walsh. Yeah. All right. So for Chris and Nick Proetti, I'm Larry Proetti on Wyoming Sports Talk Today. I want to remind you, coming up this evening, we will have our Golden Age of Radio Theater.
Nope. As we were anticipated to have.
Oh, that's right.
At least high school basketball.
You already took that out.
Unfortunately, we're not ready for that.
We're going to be going back to. We'll have the best of the 50s and 60s all evening long for you. Before we go, hey, on this date in history, maybe you can stump me and Chris. What do you got?
It is March 12th. Go figure, tomorrow is Friday the 13th. But for today, though, Thursday, March 12th, we'll go back to the year 1972, where this legend retired after 26 seasons.
1972 legend retired after 26 seasons.
A hockey legend.
Well, that'd have to be Gordie Howe.
There you go. Yeah. March 12th, 1972, NHL great Gordie Howe retires after 26 seasons with the league.
Damn, I'm still good.
He's got his own hat trick named after him, too. The Gordie Howe hat trick. The fight, the assist, and the goal.
I'll tell you what. What a legend, too. One Gordie Howe. And again, his banner flies very high. His jersey flies very high. And now the Little Caesars Arena in Motown. All right, so for Chris, Nick, I'm Larry Proetti.